initiative. Chef Misol deserves this shout out always, as well as the work that World Central Kitchen is doing in Haiti. So happy to be here.
And on
Bibi,
behalf
I didn't know you
Wonderful.
were going to be there. Otherwise, Ntamando de venir avec nous là ici.
Yeah, I should have come to your place. Yeah.
Yeah.
and can I
All
just
right, we're gonna let
um,
everybody in right now.
Jesse, hold on, Jesse.
Okay.
Alexandra.
I just
I
did it.
just want to say on behalf of World Central Kitchen, thank you so much for reaching out to us and for doing this and for supporting the school. We're really very grateful.
Wonderful,
course.
wonderful. Hello, everybody. Everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are all so excited that you are here. My name is Chef Jesse Bloom, and this is Sacred Kitchen. And Sacred Kitchen is all about bringing delicious, accessible food from all over the world to your dining room. And we believe that food is the universal language, and we're also building a community of humans who know that flavor and beauty and kindness know no borders and no boundaries. So we are here today to support an incredible organization and an incredible initiative, and that is World Central Kitchen and their resilience programming, especially their culinary program in Haiti. And I have a few very special guests that I would like to introduce to you all before we get going. We want to invite you to just like focus in for about another 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to get you all lined up on all the things that are going to happen, and then we're going to cook up some delicious and amazing food. So the first person that I want to introduce you to is Chef Toúchef Steve Coupet. And we'll get a little spotlight on him. This is my man. He's coming in from Harlem. And Chef, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got roped into this delicious bit of mayhem?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, my name is Steve Toúchef Coupet on Instagram. I am currently off-site. I'm usually coming in from Harlem, but I'm from a off-site at an undisclosed location. But yeah, I am a student of food, a culinarian, amongst other things. And I got connected to Jesse through another episode of this series. Just a great episode that you did, Jesse, with the living ancestor, Mama Lucy. And Jesse and I got to chatting, and we decided we have to do this. I am based in New York, of course. I've been cooking professionally for a few years now. I've done pop-up dinners, restaurants, food education, all sorts of stuff. I'm really passionate about resilience cuisine and how Haitian food just really embodies resilience cuisine and a flavor-packed and fun cuisine that is underrepresented. And, in a way, I'm one of the lucky ones because I am, part of a generation that has an opportunity to really continue elevating this cuisine. So thank you for having me, Jesse, and thank you for making the space for us all to join and to learn and to discuss.
Awesome. We also have a very significant contingent of folks from Haiti who are here to share in a little bit of this deliciousness. And so I want to introduce Fabiola Coupet. I think I said that right. And Fabiola is going to be our translator tonight. This is our first ever translated Sacred Kitchen. And so hopefully I'll move a little bit slower and y'all can keep up with me better than usual. Fabiola, hello, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Tell us who you are and all the things. Or maybe
Hey guys,
like a minute of the things.
Yeah, don't worry. There's a lot. So my name is Fabiola. Most people know me as BB. I am a radio talk show host and foodie, soon-to-be lifestyle blogger coming to you straight from Haiti. I'm so excited to be here. I think this is a beautiful initiative. And Chef Misol does such an amazing job with the World Central Kitchen. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be on board. Chef Misol understands more than we thought. So my job is going to be pretty easy tonight.
Yes, and thank you, Fabiola. I just want everyone to know just how we connected last year through social media. Fabiola and I are long lost cousins. We're not sure how, where the family tree intersects, but within 5 minutes of conversation, we're like, oh, we're definitely related. And this is our first collaboration, if you will. So thank you for joining us, and I'm just so excited to be now officially working with you.
Yeah, me too. Very happy to be on board, guys.
I am probably going to not do justice, but our honored guest this evening is Misol Chevallier, who is the head chef, the chef of the school that we're supporting tonight. It's called the Ecole De Chefs, and I'm going to let her speak a little bit about what she is up to and what she does. I don't think I can do it justice, but we have one of the we have a premier chef from Haiti here joining us to correct all of my mistakes. So, chef, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Chef, don't forget to give me a chance to translate if you're doing it in French or Creole.
Chef, you're on mute, and we would love to hear what you do and a little bit about you.
OK. Bibi, tu es là?
Je suis là.
OK. Tu lui dis que j'ai rencontré le chef José Andrés il y a 6 ans de cela. Il était rentré, il était venu.
José Andrés 6 years ago. He had just come to Haiti for a visit.
Il est venu me voir à mon restaurant au Café de l'Europe. Et en discutant,
il m'a her at her restaurant, Café de l'Europe.
And then Chef Andrés est venu m'expliquer le projet qu'il avait pour la jeunesse haïtienne.
Chef Andrés explained the plans and projects that he had for Haiti's youth.
Is there any way that we can see Chef Misol? Can we get the camera on her a little bit? I don't know if that's possible.
Elle veut me voir.
Ah, there we almost.
Okay.
Ah, there she is.
D'accord. And then, parce que moi, ça faisait 5 ans que j'étais de retour au pays. Après mon périple en Afrique et en Europe avec mon mari.
So it had only been 5 years since she moved back to Haiti. She had been traveling through Europe and Africa. Et tu travaillais là-bas, tu as dit?
Oui, oui. Avec mon mari qui travaillait. Bon, moi, je travaillais un peu.
Okay.
Mais
so
j'avais accompagné mon mari.
She accompanied her husband, his work had him travel to those places. So when she met Chef Andrés, she had only been back in Haiti for about 5 years.
And then, j'avais mon restaurant. Et quand Chef Andrés m'a expliqué le projet qu'il avait, donc ça a fait, si tu veux, c'était une façon pour moi de réaliser mon propre rêve.
When Chef Andrés explained his vision to her, she realized that it was really just another expression of her own dreams for Haiti, and that her own dream was about to be realized.
Chef, can you tell us what you're doing right now? Can you tell us a little bit about the program in just a minute or two so everybody knows what we're supporting tonight?
Okay. Le programme, c'est fort de. Nous avons un curriculum qui a été écrit par chef Daniel Trister. Nous avons adapté ce curriculum aux besoins du pays. Et nous formons.
Curriculum by Chef Daniel Trister. I hope I got that right. And then we've adapted it for the country.
Oui, on a adapté pour les demandes du pays. Mais le curriculum permet ce que nous donnons aux élèves. Ce qui va leur permettre de travailler dans n'importe quelle cuisine du monde entier.
This curriculum allows us to pass on to our students a world-class culinary skills that could put them into any kitchen around the world.
Nous leur donnons toutes les techniques de base culinaire.
Teach them all of the basic culinary techniques.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to have
Nous formons environ, avec le corona, on est obligé de diminuer, Mais normalement, on formait 50 élèves par année.
We train about 50 students per year. With COVID, we've had to reduce that number, but yes.
We're going to have an opportunity to hear a lot more from Chef. Chef, you're welcome to interrupt me or to tell me some ways that you might do things differently than I'm demonstrating. We'd love to hear your wisdom tonight, and so your voice is most welcome here, and your voice and your expertise.
Chef, il a dit que tu auras l'occasion de l'interrompre toute la soirée et lui dire ce qu'il fait bien ou ce qu'il fait mal. N'hésite pas, si toi tu ferais différemment ou que tu aurais une autre technique que tu appliquerais, n'hésite pas à l'interrompre parce que ça va simplement enrichir la conversation et le savoir.
Le poulet qu'il fait, j'ai vu qu'il a demandé du piment, des oignons, du citron, mais je ne connais pas vraiment sa recette, comment il veut avec le chou, etc. Comment il veut faire.
So she isn't sure. She saw some of the basic ingredients on the list, but she's not sure what
on a le poulet, on a tous les tomates.
She has all of the ingredients ready, the lime, the hot pepper.
Tout ce que nous avons là, nous les utilisons dans la cuisine créole.
But these are basic ingredients that is used in Creole cuisine all the time.
Beautiful. We're going to have an opportunity. We hope there's going to be a little bit of a break when things are stewing and simmering, and we'll be able to hear a little bit more from Chef Misol and as well as some of the other World Central Kitchen folks about the program that's happening in Haiti at the culinary school there. And what we're going to do right now is we're just getting started. I do want to introduce at least one more person, and that's Chef Gustavo Eduardo. He is our Sacred Kitchen chef from Tijuana, Mexico, and he is also one of Chef Jose Andres's, what do you want to say, Gustavo? One of his proteges? He's worked with Chef Andres, and so I'm thrilled to have him here. He is kind of running the dials and the knobs. He's making sure that you all are looking at the right things. He'll be running the chat. Hey, Chef! Woo! He's joining us all the way. He's joining us all the way from TJ. So we've got Harlem, we've got Port-au-Prince, we've got Oakland, we've got Tijuana, and a whole lot of other places I'm imagining on the call today. We're gonna get started. Guatemala, that's right. So we really have a beautiful global community here tonight. Really wonderful to have you here. A couple of basics. Please keep yourself on mute if you're not talking. If you have a question, it's most helpful if you can chat it. If you're feeling lost or confused, by all means, say something. But Gustavo Eduardo will definitely answer your questions in the chat. The recipes that we go through, including the methods, will be posted in the chat. And there's a link that he just posted right now, which has a document, the document you were all sent, with all of the recipes as well. So you can work on a split screen if you want to. So those are the basics. We are going to start with working with the chicken. We're going to make the A-piece. And we are which is in many ways the base of my understanding is the base of Creole cuisine. And then we are going to cook up our chicken. We're going to make pickles, which is a very, very traditional, ubiquitous pickled dish. And then we're going to make a fun salad. And you're invited to stay with us and eat with us tonight. We have allowed a little bit more time than normal for our program. We will be going till 7:30 to allow for a little bit more translation and a little bit of spaciousness on that front. And before we get started, I would love to invite everybody to share where they're calling in from in the chat. Where are you calling in from? And especially if you're in North America, I would love to hear if you know the tribe, the indigenous folks of the land where you're on. We can't really start unless we are honest about where we are starting from. And where we are starting from tonight is at least where I'm standing on unceded Ohlone territory, and we call it Berkeley for the most part. but this is the land of people who were here long before my people were here. And so we even if you don't know, we want to invite you to just take a moment and take a breath and say a little silent acknowledgement to the people who've come before. So we're just going to do that together. And I'm going to say a little blessing in a language that makes sense to me. And I invite you to bring your own way of thinking about these things, your own way of contacting the sacred. Grandmothers, grandfathers, come join with us. Come feast with us. Feast on our joy and our beauty and the delightful, delicious things that we make with our hands. Come, lift us up in this time of strangeness. Lift us up in this time where we desperately need to be connected. And it's so easy to connect with people from all over the world, but so difficult to connect with our neighbors. We don't forget you. We won't abandon you. We remember you, remembering us, remembering you. Long life, honey in the heart, no evil, 13 thank yous. And now we can start cooking because we got all the people here who want to eat with us. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start with our chicken. And how many of you, I would love to just see by show of hands, I would love to see how many of you got your chicken marinated in the A-piece, if you were able to get that deep into our recipe.
Wow.
And I've got Sarah and Lisa and Alexandra. Okay, awesome. That's great. We're going to walk through the process anyways. It's going to be a little bit of a different technique. I have my chicken marinating right here, but if you didn't get there, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick brine on the chicken. And what we're going to be using is we're going to be using some lime, some salt, and some sugar. And what this is going to do is it's going to create like a sort of a flavor infusion. It actually chemically it creates an osmosis of flavor into our chicken. So I'm just going to take a couple of limes right here. I'm going to take a couple of limes right here, and 1 part salt to a 1/2 part of sugar. And you'll notice, if you cook with me a lot, you'll notice that I am not real big on recipes. And we do have recipes here tonight, courtesy of Chef Steve, Toúchef Coupe. But this one is kind of more of a ratio thing. So I'm going to do basically enough lime juice to kind of cover my chicken, to marinate my chicken. And then I'm going to do 2 parts lime to 1 part sugar, and I'm going to taste it. And the magic is in the taste buds, and that's where my guidance is. And if we could get Chef Steve highlighted as well, pinned as well, so you guys can see him. These are his recipes, and my take on his recipes, which are his take on traditional Haitian recipes. So we're several steps away from tradition. But what we are really staying true to is an understanding that that food is a universal language, and food is about being accessible, and it's about that stuff that you can make when you need to quickly. And that's something that crosses traditions and crosses cultures. I'm going to taste this to see where I'm at with it.
Oh, Chef, Tessa asks if we're out of white sugar, can we use brown sugar?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Thank you.
It'll just add a little bit more carameliness, and it'll be really, really nice. So I've got this. If you can mute, if you're not speaking, that'd be great. And so this should be like quite salty and quite sour with just a little hint of sugar. And Tessa's like, which one should I use? And I would just say, Tessa, this is all a beautiful experiment. Try something and learn something. Yeah, and Chef has his opinion. So that's great. So if you have your chicken, or you have your chicken parts, if you have your chicken or you have your chicken parts, now is a great time to you're just going to do it. We're doing a very quick wet brine on this chicken. Now mine is marinated in A-piece, And we're not going to marinate. We're going to make the A-piece, but we're not going to marinate the A-piece tonight with it. We're going to do something different with it. But I'm just going to go ahead and dump this on there because I think it's just going to add. It's just going to add to the love. I need to get my my A-piece off for the searing part of the process that's happening. If you're using a little pot like I am, or a little pan like I am, it's really nice to actually turn your chicken breast side down, because that's actually where most of the flavor is going to be able to come in. And then I'm just going to set this aside. I don't have to keep it in the refrigerator because we're going to be cooking it very soon. So having it come up to room temperature is totally fine. And now, so go ahead and get that going. And if you already did your A-piece, you're fine. I'm going to do a quick demo on this, on A-piece. And Chef Steve, maybe you can just give us a quick primer about what A-piece is and like its role in Haitian cuisine, because it's a big role, is my understanding. And I have all my ingredients here moving, and while Chef Steve talks, you also have the ingredients. If you weren't able to make it, now's the time to catch up with us. And all the ingredients and everything is in your is in the chat as well. So Chef Steve, tell us a little bit about what A-piece is and where it's coming from, and what its role is.
A-piece is, you know, our flavor base for a lot of Haitian dishes. It's essentially a spice paste. The consistency of A-piece can take many forms depending on what you're using it for. It could be a little more liquidy for some folks, a little more thick for others. It's something that's kind of a staple in the fridge, and you'll use it. In my family, we'll use it kind of, you know, if you say you're softening onions in your pan, maybe afterwards you toss in the A-piece, and it's just a big old flavor bomb. You have the recipe for the A-piece. The recipes might vary from household to household. Also, and depending on what it's used for, one household may have a few different A-piece variations depending on whether it's the A-piece they're using to cook rice, or an A-piece they're planning on having in the fridge for 6 weeks. A-piece can last a really long time, but it's essentially a flavor bomb. You know, it's that thing that companies like Maggi and Goya try to imitate. And for us, A-piece is always made using fresh ingredients. You know, just really thoughtfully grown fresh ingredients. So that's what it is for me. Chef Misol, I don't know if you want to add anything about A-piece down the line. I see everyone's busily working over there. So we can just
and I want to just walk people through the technique, and then I would love to hear what Chef Misol has to say. Traditionally, this dish is made in a mortar and pestle, or a matate, as I know it from my household. And I'm going to show you the blender, the Cuisinart version, which is very simple and will be expedited. But by all means, if you're going traditional, we would love to see what you come up with. And so I'm just going to do a very rough chop on these ingredients and just throw them in. There's nothing, I don't need to be too precious about this. The amazingness is the freshness of all the ingredients and all the pieces that are happening. So so I'm going to go ahead and cut up an onion. I've got some garlic. I've got a little bit of parsley, some celery, a stick of celery, a little bit of lime juice, and some olive oil, and a Scotch bonnet pepper. And I do want to say, not knowing all the things about A-piece, it has been a revelation to me, and I will be using it all the time because it's amazing. All right. I think I said all the things I needed to say.
For the
Chef Misol, what do you think?
For the mortar and pestle, we call it pilon.
Beautiful.
So here's Chef Misol coming on over.
While Chef Misol comes in, I'll say that in Haiti, we don't often keep A-piece in the fridge. I think that's become a Haiti diaspora thing, which I understand because modern life can make it a little crazy, but it's usually something that you make fresh every day in mortar and pestle.
That is so good to know.
C'est tout ce qu'il veut là-dedans, pas vrai?
Oui, dis-moi.
On a tout mis dans le robot.
Je sais pas ce que tu as mis, mais ça a l'air complet.
That's a gros problème.
Has everything right, and I'm like, no, we're waiting on you to say that. Water nous dit aussi, Chef Misol.
We're having a little bit of a hard time. Can you say that again, Fabiola? There's some interference
Sure.
there.
She was wanting to make sure that she got all of the ingredients that you guys are working with right in her food processor. But I said, actually, Chef Misol, you're the one who's going to tell us tonight if we've got everything right.
Exactly. Did we get everything? Did we give everything right? We're not sure. Please tell us exactly.
Let me say a couple of things. Chef Misol, tu m'entends pas vrai? Chef Misol, juste pour te dire que, au fait, ce soir, on compte sur toi et pour ton expertise. Si ou bien on va ajouter sous ton commentaire, sous façon que a fait travail là, sous ça a utilisé, sous ingrédients, yo, pas hésiter et partager parce qu'au contraire, c'est ça a cherché même. Yo voulait que expérience authentique là ou bien tradition yo sorti et que ou même ou raconter histoire ingrédients ça yo. N'importe moment que vous envie de faire ça, ajouter 2 goûts d'épaule sans hésiter. So just to tell her kind of what we're expecting from her in terms of, you know, adding her 2 cents about the ingredients, the story of the ingredients, the story of the recipes, whatever insight she can bring. She's been doing this for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Misol, dis-nous ce que tu penses de l'épi et mets la caméra pour qu'on puisse te voir. On n'a pas besoin de voir les fruits. On veut te voir à toi. Voilà. Tu es sur mute. Tu es sur mute. Tu dois enlever le mute.
Allô, Bibi?
Je suis là.
OK. Maintenant, on peut mixer. On a des problèmes avec l'ordinateur.
They're having a little bit of trouble with the computer, kind of keeping it set up while they work on their recipe.
No worries. We can be flexible.
Bon, tu lui dis que tous les aromates que nous mettons là, ce sont les épices que nous utilisons. Ce sont des épices que nous utilisons tous les jours dans la cuisine haïtienne.
All of the aromatics we're using today are things that we use every day in Haitian cuisine, including garlic, hot peppers, Scotch bonnet specifically.
Ail, piment, oignon, persil.
Onions, parsley. So these are things that go into Haitian recipes.
Tu m'entends parce que moi, je ne t'entends pas, Bibi.
OK, moi, je t'entends. Tout va bien. Tout va bien.
Moi, je ne t'entends pas bien du tout.
We hear you.
Je t'entends comme si tu étais très loin. Bon, tu es très loin.
Je suis à Delma.
Oui. Donc, maintenant, on va continuer avec la recette. Et là, maintenant, j'ai besoin de voir. Est-ce que nous allons farcir le poulet avec toutes les épices que nous allons passer dans le food processor?
Comment elle dit farcir en anglais là?
I'm gonna
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'd love to hear what she said, and then I'm gonna just kind of reorient everybody to where we're at.
Okay, she kind of wanted to know a little bit. She kind of wanted to know a little bit how you're using the chicken tonight. Have you marinated, and how you're using the épices exactly?
Right. So we're going to be doing a couple of different things with the épices. We're actually sort of showing 2 different techniques. And I just want to catch everybody up. Gustavo, Eduardo, if you could repaste the épices recipe and ingredients, but not include the chicken and the mushrooms, because that might be a little bit confusing for some folks. What we're doing right now, everybody, is everything on the list. We've got red onions, garlic cloves, some parsley, cilantro, a little bit of thyme. All of this is going directly into a food processor in this case to make this flavor bomb, this base of Haitian cuisine. And we're gonna just blend it up with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of lime and some salt. Make sure that it tastes good. You can add hot pepper to your druthers. And what we're going to be doing with this is, if you had the opportunity to make the A-piece yesterday and to marinate your chicken in it, that's a very, my understanding is that the very traditional way to do it, to let it marinate overnight. And we are going to be, we're going to be searing the chicken. We're going to be butchering and searing the chicken, and then we'll be braising it. And so we're doing a kind of a traditional braise technique. However, if you didn't make the A-piece, we're going to be folding the A-piece into the base of that braise. We're going to be sautéing it up and cooking it up, which is another so we're sort of working with two different techniques that I think are, well, they're definitely good culinary techniques. I don't know if they're traditional techniques or not. So just to make sure that everybody's caught up with us, you're taking all these ingredients that are in your chat and in your document, and you're going to put them in this, you're going to put them in your blender, and you're going to turn it on in just a moment. And I asked Chef, I said, Chef Steve, I said, hey, you know, what are the quantities? What are the ratios? Like, walk me through this. I'm like, I know Victoria is going to be on the call. She's going to be like, hey, I want measurements. And he's like, man, just make it taste good. And I was like, oh, that's a guy after my own heart right there. So make it taste good. It should be spicy and flavorful and delicious. And one of the things that I have noticed in teaching these classes is that cuisines, I don't actually know if this is true. This might be a great question for Misol, or if anybody else knows. But my experience is that cuisines that are rooted in the African diaspora use something like this as the flavor base of their cuisine. So Puerto Rican food has sofrito. The Senegalese cuisine uses something called nocas, which is very, very similar. And it's just exciting to me because, like, here we are making flavor bombs. I'm going to mix this up and see how it comes out. Let's see. Chef Steve, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it all. I've just muted you briefly, Jesse, for the blender. Just Fabiola's point earlier about, you know, diaspora habits, how we put it in the fridge. It's true. I think the diaspora, the Haitian diaspora, we eat Haitian food as a memory. But I think a lot of folks in the diaspora forget about the resilience element of it, that a lot of this food doesn't have to be refrigerated. And you know, you mentioned Fabiola, a piece you might make every day, but something like pickles, you know, you let it sit and just grow. The flavor grows, and it's not in a fridge. It's something that's designed to be out there and in a tropical country with the heat. But you know, we tend to forget that as a diaspora. So I'm glad you mentioned that, and that's what we have to get back towards. And for those folks, I'm looking at the gallery right now. Any show of hands, did anyone do their A-piece in a mortar and pestle, in a pilon? Did someone shake their hand at the camera if they did it, or did we all use?
Do we have any true
Monique?
Monique.
Nice. I'm not surprised. You know, it's great, and it's a great shortcut. It makes the food so much more accessible. Oh, Chef Chevallier. So let's see if we can get her in the spotlight. She's showing us her A-piece. Chef Chevallier, if you want to unmute. Nice, it looks beautiful. And so look at her texture. It's a thick texture. Like I said, depending on what you're using A-piece for, you're gonna have a different texture. Chef Chevallier, vous voulez mettre un cuillère pour nous voir consistency? So she's gonna show us. Yeah, so you see, it's just kind of, you know, kind of falls off the spoon. It's not so liquidy. You know, almost might look like a pesto if you weren't sure. Jesse as well, we have your texture.
Did I do it right, Chef? Did I do it okay?
There we go.
Does it look all right?
Yes. So Chef Chevallier, nous parlons ou sous-mute. I see. There we go. So they're gonna mute her.
Voilà. Vous entendez Kounia?
Oui.
Voilà. C'est comme quand on pesto lié.
Yes.
Okay?
Like a pesto, she said.
You all are going to have to come, and I have enough A-piece for about 30 people, so you all have to come over to my house, and I'll feed you chicken tomorrow. You coming over, Fabiola?
I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
Come on.
Right away.
So I'd love to just see a show of hands. How many folks are done with their A-piece? I just want to see like if folks are kind of, I want to make sure we're not sprinting through. I know there might be a couple folks who are catching up. All right, looks like we're in pretty good shape. So we're going to put our A-piece to the side and we are going to get out our yuca or our cassava. I don't know what it's called in Haiti. And so you should have a big root like this. And we're going to, Chef, you said steam it. I was going to do it in some boiling salted water.
Do that.
Does that work?
That's more traditional. The steaming is me being bougie. Fabiola, the word for yuca in Creole, it's not malanga,
It's
right?
mayok. No, it's mayok.
Yeah.
Mayok.
Mayok. M-A-I-N-I-O-C. Mayok. Yeah.
So what you're going to do right now, yeah, go ahead, Chef, take it away.
What we're doing for this is a Yucca Puree. This is not, I don't know it to be Haitian. This is just me putting my diaspora spin on it. And yeah, Alexandra mentioned she did her yuca in the coconut milk, and that's perfect. If you're gonna simmer it in some coconut milk, and then you wanna maybe if you put in too much coconut milk, you might drain and reserve the simmered coconut milk, and start blending your yuca and slowly add the milk back in, so you're targeting a correct consistency. Say you put too much coconut milk in the pot, you don't just want to toss it into a blender and blend it. It might be too watery, and that's hard to come back from. So yeah, take it away, Jesse.
So I'm just using this is a really nice peeler for this kind of root. It's called a Y peeler. I'm sure that's the only name for it in the whole world. And I'm just peeling this yuca, getting the skin off, and I'm just gonna cut this into kind of large dice, big chunks. The longer you can cook it, the smaller, the less you have to cut it. Let's put it that way. So because we are on a time frame, we're gonna cut it kind of medium, not too small, not too big. And yeah, we can just do this in some salted water, as Chef was saying. If you want to do it in some coconut milk, you'll end up with something that's quite unctuous and delicious. And I'm doing a little bit of low-fat cooking this evening for my mom. Hi, Mom. My mom has been to every single cooking class that I have taught since March of last year. And that's a lot of cooking classes. Thank you, Mom, for being so wonderful and supportive. And she also is in the same room, which is extra exciting because I haven't seen her a lot over the last year. And she's here in California with me. And she's also not cooking, which she usually does. So I'm glad you won't have to do so many dishes, Mom. It'll be my job tonight. And I think her audio doesn't work.
And she's not a chef. That was Dad's role.
She has been to every class and cooked every meal, and she doesn't like to cook. How about that for support? All right, so I'm just taking my, how do you say this, Fabiola, again?
In Creole, you would say mayok.
Mayok. We're going to take this mayok. We're going to take this mayok, and I'm going to kind of cut it into chunks. It's big. It's kind of real starchy to cut by itself, like the long way. So I'm just going to cut this into chunks. I'm going to cut it into quarters. I have kind of a nice skinny one. These can get enormous. The mayok can be just absolutely huge. This is a real staple, and it speaks in many ways to the staple cuisines, the staple ingredients that really you see across the African diaspora. Yams, name yams. In the American South, we have sweet potatoes, and everywhere you go, that there are folks with African heritage, you will find delicious, tasty root things. And I believe that there are actually some root vegetables. Is mayok indigenous to Haiti? I think it might be.
I'm actually not sure about that.
Indigenous? I would be surprised to hear that. One interesting fact about yuca, I don't mean to turn it left, but that It's poisonous when eaten raw. Yuca contains raw yuca contains cyanide. So you know that's
so
not
cook your yuca. I'm not trying to kill anybody.
Don't make yuca tartare. Let me tell you that. Don't make yuca carpaccio.
And actually, I do think that yuca is indigenous to at least the Caribbean islands, because the word yuca is the Taino word for mayok. So that just came back. So it has to be.
I have that
area.
I have that vaguely in my head somewhere too. That it's
correct.
That it's got that etymology. So thank you for that.
And for folks
so right
who
now,
don't know, just real quick, the Taino peoples are the indigenous peoples that inhabited the land of Hispaniola before it was called Hispaniola, before the Spaniards arrived. And the Taino did travel between different Caribbean islands as well. They're known to be in Haiti, but they were like a very great and powerful peoples. So just to throw that in there.
So what's happening right now is we've got our yuca marinating, we've got our A-piece done, and kind of waiting for action, and we've got a couple of different things that we're going to work on. Chef, do you think we should go ahead with the pickles, or should we go ahead and get our chicken happening, get the chicken magic working? What do you think? Maybe
let's
chicken,
get let's get the chicken happening, because you're going to want to simmer that for a bit, especially with the raw cashews. So I say get that going, and then you can get the pickles together. And the pickles is one of those things that's going to taste really great tonight. In 2 days, it's going to taste even better.
So what we're going to do with the base of our chicken dish is going to be onions. And so we're going to cut up a couple of onions, and Chef Eduardo, Gustavo Eduardo, will put in the basic recipe, and I'm gonna switch burners so you guys can see what's happening on my other burner here.
So Jesse, would this be a good time to introduce someone from World Central Kitchen, since right now I think a lot of folks are going to be chopping up vegetables?
Yeah, sure. So let me just kind of walk us through what's happening right here real quick. Okay. Basically, what we're going to do, this is a great time to use a Dutch oven, or a big pot that's got a thick bottom and a lid. And I am going to first, I'm going to actually get my chicken going. How many pieces have whole chicken? How many people who have whole chicken that needs to be butchered? And how many folks have chicken parts? Let me see hands for chicken parts. Hands for chicken parts. Okay, great. So then I don't need to do a butchering lesson, and I can just break this chicken down really quick and not worry about you all keeping up with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to sear the chicken, remove it, and then we're going to put a base of onions underneath it. So you want to have your onions cut up and ready to go, so that as soon as your chicken is seared, you can pull it out. Now, if you're a vegetarian, this is a great place where you would basically do the similar thing with the mushrooms to the chicken, and I can also show you that. So go ahead and get all of your ingredients ready to go. You're going to want to get your bell peppers, but especially right now your onions. Excuse me. Apparently, I'm losing my words. Get your onions ready to go, and get your pot kind of on medium-ish, medium-high heat. And you're going to use a nice searing oil. So ideally, this would not be olive oil. I'm using grapeseed oil today. It's got a really nice high smoking point. If you're really feeling that coconut flavor, you could use coconut oil. That's not really the direction we're going today, but it is good at high heat. So I'm just going to get this going, and when my oil is hot, I'm going to take my chicken parts and start searing it. I'll be working in a slightly different order than you all, because you guys are ready to start searing your chicken, and you want to make sure that your onions are ready to go. And I'll just be working quickly for a moment here.
think that's a
So
great
you know
tip
your
about
oil.
the cocoa oil. And I encourage folks, when you buy your coconut oil, check your bottle. Like Jesse mentioned, it's great at high heat, but that's if it's like unrefined coconut oil. And in 2021, there's a lot of different methods of processing coconut oil. So definitely read the bottle. It should be good for high heat, but not all of them are.
Now, if you A-piece marinated your chicken, it's important that you get some of the A-piece off, and you might even want to take a paper towel and dry some of your chicken off with the paper towel, because that will help you. The dry skin will help you create the sear that you want. So I can sear these in quarters. I can sear it in eighths. I can do all of the different things. You guys just sear whatever you have. Get that searing, and make sure that if you have a sous chef, your sous chef can be working on your onions right now. You also have a bell pepper that's getting ready to go into the mix. Oh, that nice sear. Yeah, that's what I was looking for right there. Delicious. Now, this is a dish that is the way that Chef Steve and I are playing with this dish is very much kind of a slow braise. And a lot of times when you're working with chicken breast, that's more of a quick cooking, a quick high heat to keep it tender. And what we're going for here is more of a fall off the bone kind of experience. So if you've got legs or thighs, that's great. And if you have breast, it'll work too. And breast falling off the bone is also good. It tastes good, but this is specifically kind of a recipe that's designed and particularly delicious with dark meat, I would say. Now, one thing to pay attention to when you're working with chicken is raw chicken can carry pathogens. So I've got I'm going to make sure I wash my hands really well. I'm going to put this board away. I have a little bit of bleach spray that I will use on my ingredients here, so I don't cross-contaminate anything. So please take a moment and be mindful if you're working with raw chicken, and make sure that you don't have a lot of cross-contamination. For example, I don't want to use these tongs on anything else. These are my chicken-only tongs. So just make sure you got a little bit of mindfulness about how you're dealing with the raw poultry in your kitchen. Chef Steve, say something entertaining.
I want to show some love to anyone from Sacred Kitchen. I think this would be World Central Kitchen. Sorry, your Sacred Kitchen. So many kitchens. But if I don't know who we want to spotlight to start.
Maybe we could ask
Lisa looks ready. She's ready here in front of the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and Eduardo maybe to add. There we go. Hi Lisa. Introduce yourself. Welcome.
Thank you so much. We are so delighted to be here. I'm always ready, but definitely think that Alex would be a great person to share a little bit about our overall resilience programs. But yes, I'm part of the World Central Kitchen team, and HQ in particular. I'm in the comms team, but support all of our different programs. We have both a relief operation, which tends to all of the things that happen on a moment's notice. So hurricanes and earthquakes, volcanoes, or sometimes some humanitarian crises, but also we have our long-term resilience programs, which Alex heads and work in Haiti is a part of, which is focusing on building better and more resilient food systems. And so that includes our food producer network that we're in the Bahamas, USVI, Guatemala, and Puerto Rico. And then also our culinary school in Haiti, of course, which we're highlighting today. And we're so excited that you guys are learning and supporting us. And then we have some clean cook stove programs in Central America and a bunch of different things that are always happening. So thank you guys so much for the support. You can learn more about us on our website or on social media. We're always posting what we're up to on there.
Nice, thank you. And Alex, introduce yourself, and you said a phrase. I think it was you that said a phrase earlier that really stuck with me. So tell us about yourself.
So hi, I'm Alex. I'm actually on the East Coast, as is my team. So I started a little early. I think I may have already lost my husband. He may have gone. So I'm just simmering my chicken.
Nice.
But anyways, thank you so much. This is great. I oversee our resilience work, which is focused on a couple of main areas: culinary training. So the school in Haiti is one of those pieces. Within there, we're looking at we're in the process of developing a chef relief training program to empower local communities to be able to respond to food disasters, taking everything that we've learned on the relief side, but kind of doing it on the resilience side as a training. We have our food producer network, which supports farmers, fishers, and food producers, small scale, in Puerto Rico, USVIs, and the Bahamas and Guatemala. And we're hoping to get to the Dominican Republic next year, and hopefully to Haiti if things settle down a bit in Haiti soon, we're hoping. And then clean cooking, which is one of the roots of the organization, actually. A lot of people don't know our history. We actually started from work in Haiti. Our chef Jose Andres, Jose as we call him internally, went to Haiti after the January 2010 earthquake and started cooking. Many people know the story of World Central Kitchen with Puerto Rico, but actually the first time Jose really did that was in Haiti. And he became very passionate and involved in the issue of clean cooking, which is about how women in the developing world still very much cook with wood and charcoal. And it's very unhealthy. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for their kids. It's lack of energy. So it's one of the programs that we work on. And Fatima, who's with us as well, is with us kind of from that program where we work with communities to teach them safe food and handling and how to use gas cook stoves in schools, not to use charcoal and wood, so that the school cooks can produce more and better food, but also not be exposed themselves and the students to all the fumes and the smoke from cooking on wood and charcoal. So we do a lot of stuff, and are really excited to have this opportunity to highlight Chef Misol, who is actually the longest, after Jose, the longest lasting person to have worked with the WCK since its beginning. She is the senior member of our team after Jose.
Wow. Was it you, Alexandra, earlier that mentioned sink to stove?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So that's a program, and I can let Fatima talk. So Fatima is one of our chefs. She's in Guatemala. She is one of the few people in the organization, actually really is 50% with our relief team. That is the one that responds to disasters. We have a big team in Texas right now, and we're doing work mostly with restaurants, but we have teams there. And so she's with the relief team, but she also works with resilience. And she is our lead sink to stove instructor. So Fatima, why don't you talk a little bit about what that does?
And right before you hop in, Fatima, I just want to pause for a moment for everyone to check out Jesse. He's flipping his chicken right now. Jesse, I don't know if you're muted or not. But yeah, he's just flipping his chicken, checking out those.
So
those
you can see that I have this nice brown on the chicken here, and now is the time before my pan starts to burn on the bottom. I'm going to remove the chicken, and I'm going to put in my chopped up vegetables. So now is the time to go ahead and add. Yeah, that's a great point. If your pan is really sticky, you can't see it because the pan itself is dark. But if this was like on the edge of being black, on the edge of being burned, I would want to deglaze it. And you can deglaze is the technique where you're basically picking up the fond, the flavor on the bottom of the pan you're picking that up with liquid, and it's very traditional in French cuisine to do that with wine, and it's also very delicious to do that with wine. You can also use water, which works totally well, and you can also use acid like lime, which would work really well in this dish. So so Chef Steve has a good idea to get a little bit of a deglaze happening here, and you'll see it'll kind of bubble up and boil up. And I'm gonna just let that cook off the bottom, and then as the water evaporates, I'll again be able to saute. Yeah, Chef Misol is showing us the wine.
Chevallier.
Always. Oh, the wine, always.
And then so you're using white wine?
All right.
White wine, Chef?
White wine.
Okay. Got it. Love it.
That's what she's here for. Make those corrections. And it's nice to take like a wooden spoon. It's nice to take a wooden spoon to get the fond off the bottom of your pan. If you have cooked with me at all, you know that I will always talk about fond. And that's this caramely bit of brownness, and that is really where the flavor and the deliciousness in your food is. So I'm gonna let the wine and the water reduce all the way down until and get all the stuff off the bottom, and then I'll add my vegetables, which include the onions and a little bit of garlic, as well as some if you have a habanero or a Scotch bonnet pepper. You can add that as well, and then we're gonna get those cooking for a little while. We'll add some tomatoes and some tomato paste, as well as the épice. This is the place where we're gonna add the épice and get it sautéing and getting it releasing a bunch of its aromas. So let's go ahead while Chef Fatima shares a little bit about the Sink to Stove program. We can just go ahead and keep a spotlight on my hands, and I will kind of be doing stuff along with just so we're not interrupting Chef Castillo. And we're so glad that you're here. Thanks for joining us from Guatemala.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for supporting us and our work. Well, Sink to Stove is a program that is actually targeted towards school cooks, or in the case of Haiti, it's going to be targeted towards market vendors. So basically, like it says, from the sink to the stove, we basically teach best practices, food safety, hygiene. Also part of our clean cook it's part of our clean cooking program. So we teach them how to safely use LPG, which is liquid propane gas, how to safely install it and how to maintain it, because some people don't know how, some women especially, which is in our countries, Haiti and Guatemala, they're the ones that usually cooks at the schools or in their homes. So we teach them, and it's a very, very image-friendly program because we designed it for a lot of people in communities that don't know how to read. And we also teach them culinary techniques. And the culinary techniques are very useful for them, not only for the benefit of the children at the schools, but also for, you know, self-teaching new techniques, and also that will help them if they want to get a job as a line cook at a restaurant, because all of the basic culinary techniques are from our chef curriculum. So sorry, talking a little bit too fast here. I'm scared that the chicken might burn.
Don't burn the chicken.
Yeah,
don't burn the chicken.
I can quickly
No
jump.
vale la pena.
The chef is gonna burn the chicken, so that's why I got nervous. Sorry.
Let me just say, just so people understand the context. When we think of somebody who cooks at schools, we think of the lunch ladies, right? The ladies behind the counter, and they're in the kitchen and they're doing stuff. But in places like Haiti and Central America, particularly in the more rural areas, the people who cook in the schools for lunch, and many times that lunch is really the only meal of the day for the children, but they tend to be mothers who are from the community, who are actually volunteering their time. They tend to be on rotational shifts, and they're doing it so they can themselves get a meal. So they're not getting paid through their volunteers as moms, and they have no formal training around food handling or food safety. So our program is designed to give them some of those skills that they need, because they are in fact handling food for 200 to 400 children. And we want to empower them to cook safely, foodborne illnesses, know how to handle food, and also how to, in terms of the techniques, but also how to handle them. So.
I want to show you really quick what's happening here. I have my my water and wine mixture is basically down to almost nothing. This is the time when I want to add my onions. I want to add my peppers. I'm gonna get everything in here, and I'm gonna just, now I've got a little saute going. I can add a little bit of oil, and begin to get this to cook down. You can add your garlic, and I don't know if we have anybody who's working a vegetarian meal, but I want to show you what that would look like with these mushrooms really quick. I have a screaming hot skillet here, and I'm just putting these whole mushrooms in, nice and whole, and I'm gonna cook them. I don't even need oil. I can just, one of the magical properties of mushrooms is that they'll self-sear. So I'm just gonna turn this on high heat, and then once these have started to cook down a little bit, I'll add some of the onions and some of the peppers in addition to that. And I'm gonna wait to add my chicken until my onions and my other vegetables in this dish have started to cook down. Once they've gotten translucent, I will then add the A-piece, and I'm gonna make sure that I get some tomato paste and a little bit of diced tomato. I've got some diced tomatoes, and I've got some tomato paste. We're gonna get that all cooking and all nice and toasty before we add our chicken back in. So you may want to add a little bit of oil, another tablespoon or so of oil to your mix, and everything else that's also in the mix can go in. You might want to wait just a couple more minutes until the onions are cooked down, but then is a good time to add your garlic. Then is a good time to add your thyme. I've got this thyme right here. Now it depends how fussy you are. Now Chef Misol, I can already tell, has a very classic traditional French bent in her cooking, and so in that sense, I would probably take all these little leaves off and might even chop them up. I have a more rustic sensibility. I don't actually know what Chef Misol's sensibility is, so I'm putting words in her mouth. But I would just throw this.
She did train in France.
I guess she has more training than I do. I'll say that. I'm just going to throw this right into my pot, and I'll pull out those threads of thyme a little bit later, and all the flavors are going to get in there with none of the work. So that's my style. But let's hear from Chef Misol.
When I was a kid, we'd get rice. Like, Haitians, we have many different preparations of rice. But it's like, if you're eating the rice with your eyes closed, you might catch a clove in your mouth. So it's like, it's really, it was made with love if they're trying to kill you with the cloves. So in terms of rustic, we Haitians, we make rustic a brand. Fabiola, I wanna ask you a question. Do you know many Haitian vegetarians in Port-au-Prince?
I was actually vegetarian for 2 years.
Your mic is giving some feedback, Fabiola.
It shouldn't be. I'm using a headset.
It was giving light
really
feedback
bad.
before, but now it's a bit heavier.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. So it might be
you might want to try to unplug the mic and see if it works better.
Okay. I'm not gonna hear you as well. Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Well,
it's much better. We can hear you now. We couldn't hear you at all.
Well, I'm very sad. But anyway, definitely let me maybe put my volume up a little bit. Okay. So what was my question again?
Vegetarianism. I know, here growing up, it's like if you have a friend over and they tell your Haitian grandmother that they're vegetarian, she's just gonna strain out the chicken and give you the rest of the dish. So I mean, I was almost 20 before I realized that vegetarians didn't eat fish. For Lent we go vegetarian, but we still eat fish. So yeah, just asking about that.
Yeah, so I would definitely say a modern Haitian cuisine is not so vegetarian, but there's probably more and more Haitian vegetarians today than in the past. But I do want to say that I think traditionally our food is not meat heavy. The traditional diet, it's been changed and it's been affected by economics and a variety of things. But I think the traditional old school Haitian diet was kind of light breakfast, coffee and cassava with peanut butter. Lunch is that kind of solid
Spicy peanut butter.
You know, mamba.
Spicy,
Spicy mamba. And evening is often kind of a light broth. So that would be kind of the old school traditional diet, but that has changed. And definitely, you know, even though I say meat, that it's not a meat heavy culture originally, I think that vegetarianism is not a concept that necessarily applies. You know, it's the islands. We have indigenous pigs. We have a lot of fresh seafood. It just doesn't make any sense almost to us. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's true. And with African diaspora cuisine, meat was used as a flavoring. Meat was, more used as a garnish. And it was it was more of a celebration food. So all of that really makes sense. I see we have Chef Misol here on camera. So do we want to see where she's
and
at?
I want to show you a couple of really important moments, and I want to see where Chef Misol is as well. So I don't know if you can see this, but my onions and peppers are cooked down pretty well. And there's three things that I'm kind of at a critical juncture in the process. So I'd love it if you could take a look at where I'm at. And you can see my pot and Chef Misol's pot are actually pretty similar. Chef Misol has something she wants to say. I'm going to add my tomato paste and get that cooking right now. And I'm going to add a couple of cups of, or a couple of big spoonfuls of my épices. That's what I want to show you, but I want to hear from Chef Misol.
Épices, mettez épices là encore.
So Chef Misol, montre-nous encore.
Montre.
Oui. So she's going to show us again. Wow. Ou mettre un noyau là-dedans?
Oui. So
Chef Misol has already put her cashews inside. And it looks like she's been reducing her tomato paste. And so she
I'm going to go with my cashews then.
There we go.
It's time for the cashews. Now I'm going to show you several things at once here. I'm at a point where there's critical things happening in all of my dishes simultaneously. You got to be able to manage a lot as a chef. You can see, listen to this sound my mushrooms are making. Can you hear that?
I didn't have mushrooms.
No, ligue mushroom pour végétarien.
Pour végétarien. Pour végétarien.
Oui.
So I'm just going to add, now that my mushrooms are self-seared, no oil or anything, now I'm going to add a little bit of oil for my onions.
Oui.
D'accord.
Go ahead, Jesse.
And then I'll let those cook for a little bit, and then I'll add my épices to those. And I got to keep my other pan moving here, And then finally, Chef, my cassava is very soft. It is done. It is, well, which?
I think we lost.
Should it be like? What am I looking for?
You chopped off for a minute. Can you repeat that? You're good now.
Well, that's no fun.
No, you're good now.
My question is, what should the yuca feel like? Should it be soft all the way through? Like, should I, or what am I looking for here?
Yeah. You want it soft all the way through. This is something as well you can feel along. You want it pretty soft so that it'll blend easily. Once again, I would drain it out the liquid and slowly add the liquid back in, so that you can target the right consistency. But you have leeway there. But I would say let it be that you can cut through it with a spoon, and the yuca gives you no give on the spoon. If you
no resistance. Okay.
Yes.
I think it's there, and I'm gonna just kind of keep it simmering for a few minutes, like very, very low, maybe even just on the lowest possible heat, and then I'll just keep it there, and we'll work with it in a few minutes. But right now we're kind of at a critical juncture with the chicken, which is I've got all my spices. I've got my garlic and all my goodies in here. My tomato paste has been unctified, and it's time to add my chicken back into the pot. Am I forgetting anything, Chef? I probably want some black pepper in there, right?
I think, yeah. It looks like you're moving. Black pepper in there sounds good. Yeah, it seems like you're running with it, and it's great. The cashews are taking a lot of flavor from your other ingredients. So yeah, I think you're looking good.
And then I'm just gonna cover this with water or with stock or with wine. What would Chef Misol do?
Chef Misol.
Chef Misol, est-ce que vous avez utilisé du vin et anti-bouillon ou bien qui sont à utiliser et pour partir pour sauce là, c'est ça? For kind of like creating,
Yeah.
Tu m'entends là?
Oui, là, on t'entend.
OK. Moi, ce que j'aurais fait, parce que chez nous en Haïti, on aime quand il y a du jus. Alors, moi, j'aurais déjà préparé un fond pour ajouter à la sauce.
Okay, so Chef Misol says, so she would probably have some kind of broth base ready to add to the sauce.
Some stock.
Some stock. I apologize.
Yes.
Chicken.
Yes.
Chicken stock.
A homemade chicken stock.
Yes. Because in Haiti, we love to have juicy.
Yes.
The sauce.
For the rice.
Sauce.
Yes.
It's all about the sauce for us. Always.
Even
if you're gonna have rice, you gotta put the sauce on it.
It's true. And that was something my aunt told me when I first.
Do you enjoy eating a lot of spicy food or just saucy?
A lot of spice. Everything is very spicy at home in Haiti.
I would say that some people like spicy as in spicy hot, but definitely our cuisine is also very flavorful. Like the épice is kind of a testament to that. You know, everything has to have some type of aromatics added to the cuisine. I think we get that from our French.
Yeah, and even the Scotch. Yeah, agreed.
A lot of herb.
Yeah.
Thyme, everything.
Thyme, yeah. And I think
garlic, thyme, parsley, onions. These are kind of everyday.
A lot of flavor.
It's at every Haitian meal. You know, it's part of.
Okay, so now I put my chicken.
So, Chef Misol, you put the liquid in it already too?
No, I haven't put. Oui.
The stock. You put the stock in there already?
She put. I think Annie said that she put the stock in.
A little bit.
Okay, and so now she's adding her chicken. Got it. And
So now I put my chicken.
Yeah.
I put my chicken.
Okay, so Jesse, you hear that? She's putting her chicken in. One thing I just wanted to mention, Fabiola, about what you were saying, and someone asked about the spicy. Even Scotch bonnet pepper has like an aroma, a flavor associated with it. Scotch bonnet is not just spicy for the sake of spicy. Even when we use, sometimes we'll just cut slits in the Scotch bonnet and put it in something and then take it out. We don't break it. Sometimes we do break it, but not all the time. And when you do that light use of it, there's an aroma there.
Monsieur t'a dit que piment que nous utilisons, c'est nous pas de piment parce que okay. I'm gonna say that our Scotch bonnets tend to be a little smaller. Piment, Scotch bonnet, no?
You're breaking up a little bit, Fabiola. Could you repeat that?
Sure. So I wanted to confirm with Chef Misol that piment bouc is actually a Scotch bonnet peppers. Ours tend to be a little smaller. Okay, and definitely of all the Scotch bonnet piments that I've tried, that small Haitian Scotch bonnet that grows on Haitian plains, it just has a different aroma and a different flavor. There's something special happening there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do know Scotch bonnet to be a little smaller. Over here, they call them Jamaican peppers. So I have to roll my eyes sometimes when I'm buying it. Nice. So Jesse, I want to bring it back to you. Sorry, Jesse, I muted you earlier because of the background noise is interfering. But now, if you could unmute.
I've been muted. I've been muted.
That's me because you're cooking with gusto.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. So I've got this delicious mix. My chicken is in here. I am ready to get this guy braising. I'm just gonna add some water. And I actually have a little bit of instant stock here, a little bit of better than bouillon. This is cheating, but it is delicious. And this is not the stock class. This is the Haitian cashew chicken class. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this in there, and I want to make sure it gets that nobody gets like a spoonful of better than bouillon. But I'm going to just fold that in there, and I'm going to basically do my water kind of just to cover. Like I might want a little tiny bit more, and then I'm going to get this on medium heat and just let it simmer. And as soon as it comes up to a simmer, I'll turn it down. So a little bit of stock or water in your chicken. There's plenty of flavor in here. If you don't have stock, don't panic. And then I've got my mushrooms have started to do a thing. I've got my mushrooms and my onions, and I'm gonna add my épices to this, and it's gonna get nice and cooked and a little bit of aromatic. And to finish this dish, I would certainly add some thyme. Let's just do that now. Now's a great time for that. It's about time. See what I did there? Hey. So I'm going to add some thyme, and then this would be delightful to finish with a little bit of cream or butter, or both. And I don't know if that feels like French cuisine to me. Chef Misol would be able to tell me more about that than I would, but it sounds good. So I'm going to let that cook and kind of a medium heat. I'm turning that down. I'm letting that go a little bit lower. And I've also turned my my cassava off. It is mushy. Yeah. It is ready for whatever it is I'm going to do with it next. It is not, however, the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm just going to kind of set it off to the side, turn the heat off, and we're going to move on to our pickles next, which is very, very simple and very ubiquitous dish. And what it is it's finely chopped up cabbage and sliced carrots and bell pepper. It might have a Scotch bonnet if you want everything on your dish to be spicy. And it's got some white vinegar. So we'll kind of work on that for a little bit. Now's a good time to chop up your cabbage and your carrots. And you can get out a little bit of white vinegar, and I will walk you through what the next step is once we get there. It'll be a couple minutes, and that'll give us a chance to hear a little bit more from Chef Misol or any of the other World Central Kitchen folks. For those of you who just missed the beginning, like, we're here to support incredible resilience programming that World Central Kitchen is doing in Haiti and throughout the world. And at the end of our evening together, there'll be an opportunity to donate. And in fact, Chef Gustavo Eduardo can put a link in the chat now, because if you're not doing enough, if you're bored, you can just give some money to World Central Kitchen right now. Nice. They won't be mad. It doesn't matter when it comes in. They're stoked for it. So I'll let somebody else take the mic at the moment, but let's just keep the view on my hands at least. And I'm going to chop up, shred some carrots and chop up a half a head of green cabbage. And there is the pickles in the chat. Well done. I've also got a little bit of tomatoes that I'm going to add to my chicken that was in the recipe, and I neglected it momentarily, but now I remembered and it's fine. Nice. All right, Alexandra, do you want to talk, or yeah, who's got the mic?
Alexandra looks like she wants to mention something, so I can spotlight you. And just for future folks, with all the questions around spiciness, if you're ever making a meal like this again, the pickles can be your only spicy element. You can tone down the spice on the chicken and everything else. The pickles is meant to be a traditionally spicy condiment, and it's a great way to control the spice levels for different people at the table. Just for future. So Alexandra, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm actually trying to figure out if Emma is still on. Emma, are you there? I hate to call you out. She has a baby. She has a little one. She may have already. It's East Coast time.
She
Are you
was
there?
to leave, but she had to go earlier. Yes, to 10 to 10.
Lisa, do you want to maybe talk about our chef corps? Because I think it might have something to do. Or do you want me to say something about it?
Sure. I can. So and you probably can speak to it a little bit more. Alex has been around way longer than I have, but we do like to always think about creative ways in which we can broaden our support and help communities in need. And that need can look a lot of different ways, and has looked a lot of different ways. We recently were helping out over here in DC right before inauguration, just because the situation, the circumstances called for it. But then we've also helped. I was delighted to hear that we had people from Tijuana. We've been in Tijuana helping some of the refugees out there. We've also helped some of the migrants in Venezuela and Colombia, and just thinking about that. But as you guys heard, we were founded by a chef, Chef Jose Andres, and we always try to think about how we can provide that food relief through what is so core to us, and that is where the Chef Corps comes in. And we have a wonderful chef network all around the U.S. and the world, frankly. And that this was the case before the coronavirus pandemic, but it's only grown so much. We can take that as one of the silver linings, where we've now been able to establish relationships with different chefs and restaurants all around the world, and work with them to be able to activate quickly and support those communities in those moments of need. So again, like, we are very fortunate to be able to have these great relationships with people all around the world. And sometimes we do hear really fun stories of either people that have met during an activation. Like, I think the Bahamas during Dorian in late 2019 was a big example of this, where a lot of our chef network had flown in or come from different places and either met there or had seen each other from different activations. And so we're very, very lucky to count on a very wide network of just people that are eager to help out in these really dire moments. But this is when humanity shows its best too.
Yeah,
That's
and we have
amazing.
chefs from all over that really help us out. So I hope Chef Coupet and Jesse and Eduardo, hopefully we'll be able to include you in some later activations when we're in your community. We'd love to have you on board, because we really try to work with local chefs when we're in a place, and use local recipes and honor local culture. And but yeah, so we welcome you to the family, and thank you so much.
Of course.
I am in.
You're about to make yourself two friends that you can't get rid of.
That's okay. I've already got your names down. I'm sending you over to Chef Tim, who leads our team and chef side, and you will hear from him.
Give me a tilt skillet, and I am like about the happiest person you could possibly imagine. Tilt skillet and like 400 or 500 pounds of whatever. I love that.
Well, you might have to explain what a tilt skillet is. I am not a chef. I come from the program side. And so tilt skillet has become a vocabulary word for me in the last 2 or 3 years. So maybe for everyone else, you want to explain what
let me show you what this looks like first, because this is relevant. So you can see that it's just got a little bit of simmer happening. I want this to simmer. This is going to cook for another 20 minutes or so until it's done, and you want it to be bubbling. You want those cashews to get kind of nice and soft. And my favorite place to do this kind of braise is in what's called a tilt skillet. And a tilt skillet is like, imagine this dish, but imagine that it's square, and imagine that it holds between 30 and 50 gallons of whatever it is you're cooking. So I love to cook high volume food, and I would love to make Haitian cashew chicken for a lot of people in Northern California, because they'll love it, and it's not local at all, but it'll be great. So that's what a tilt.
Sorry. One of my personal experiences with being on a relief mission and meeting chefs from our chef corps and other parts of the world has been very unique because that's where I have learned a lot of different new techniques and recipes. For example, when we went to Japan, we got sent the chef volunteers from Nobu in Tokyo. And it was amazing to see how those guys were steaming tons and tons and tons of trays of rice. I've never in my life thought I would learn that. It was really unique and amazing. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Chef. And I want to show you a quick cabbage lesson. I've got my cabbage cut into quarters, and there's the foot of the cabbage. This is the easiest way to get the foot out. And then I can just simply lay it down, and now I can very, very thinly slice it. You can use a mandolin or a food processor works really well. And one of my favorite culinary humans, Chef Luis, can take down a 40-pound case of cabbage quicker than you can run it through a machine, which is saying something. So I've got my half a cabbage here, and I'm gonna just put it in here. I'm gonna shred up my carrots. And Chef Steve, there's something else we need to do right now. Why don't you walk me through what the next step is with regard to the pickles? That would be the vinegar step, I believe.
Yeah, just your white vinegar, simmer it with some thyme and peppercorns. I'd actually put some salt and a dash of sugar in there. I don't know how traditional this is, but you know, when you're making pickles, you just bring your vinegar up to a boil and pour that hot liquid over your raw vegetables. I know that kind of traditional pickling recipe. I once did a pickle where I didn't do that, and my pickles went bad very quickly. I think my thyme was contaminated somehow, and since I hadn't boiled it, I just put the fresh raw thyme in with some cold vinegar, and so that's what your next step is. Bring your vinegar to a boil with your peppercorn, salt, a dash of sugar.
So Chef, I've got 4 cups of raw cabbage, right? So
yeah.
How much vinegar should I use? What is your eyeball test on that say?
Not too much and not too little. That's why I had to.
Thank you for your specificity, Chef.
That's why I had to start cooking professionally. I would ask my mom those questions, and she'd be like, "Oh, not too much, not too little. Just cook the thing." Oh, Chef Chevallier, let me spotlight you. She, let me unmute her, Chef Chevallier. And she's showing us her cabbage. And Fabiola, I'll put you up as well. So Fabiola, if you can ask Chef if she heats up her vinegar, because I don't know how traditional that is. I know I boil my vinegar, my mom does. Does she boil her vinegar? What are her thoughts on that?
Chef, on veut savoir si tu bouillis ton vinaigre, est-ce qu'on bouillit vinaigre là? Et parce que Steve lui-même lui fait ça, maman Steve fait ça, mais il pas connaît si ça son bail traditionnel. Oh, just you mute. Can we unmute her?
Ok, m'pas bouillir vinaigre là. Mais par contre, si m'a fait avec oranges su, sur la province ou dans l'arrière-pays, on fait avec oranges su, là ça bouillir oranges su. Tu sais pourquoi? Le bouillir, il n'est pas fermenté aussi vite que s'il cuit. Le bouillir oranges su, même pas bouillir vinaigre là.
Donc, jus orange suya ou bien orange?
Non, jus évidemment.
Fabiola is cutting off a little bit. So Chef Chevallier says that she doesn't.
Oui, I'm back.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry.
You back?
I'm back. I apologize, Chef Misol. Chef Misol said that she does not boil her vinegar. However, when she's outside of Port-au-Prince, so if she's not in the capital and she's using bitter orange or sour bitter orange, that's what they call it. She would boil that because it makes so that it doesn't ferment as fast.
I've never heard of pickles with sour orange, bitter orange. Pickles.
Oh, of course. Wow. Because in the beginning, ki dem do, bagay.
Oui.
Bibi, ta dem. M'a dit, qui t'aime dire le bagage?
in the beginning.
Là, nous commençons à faire pickles. OK? C'est à partir de marinade que nous qu'on a fait pour nous dans griot, dans poisson frit. OK? Qu'on y a au fur et à mesure la fine mais c'était base là, c'était zoansu, piment, zoyon au départ.
Okay. So
au début.
Originally when pickles started, it was the kind of citrusy marinade base that was used for either fish or something else is what usually was used as the base for the pickles. And that kind of evolved over time. But yeah, the bitter orange or that citrus is really kind of the origin of it. And if you still by the ocean till this day, you will find pickles that's made that way, right? Bol en mer, ou ap jwenn pickles qui fait avec jus citron et puis piment. Yeah, so by the ocean, when you get like
until
now by the ocean, grilled conch, you'll get a lot of the pickles. It's often onion pickles instead of cabbage, and it uses kind of lime juice instead of vinegar.
Parce que on a commencé pickles avec légumes, a commencé dans les années 60.
Pickles with legumes, so with vegetables, started in the 60s.
I mean, she's referring to ceviche, right? I mean, it is like a ceviche lime juice base.
Well, no. So ceviche is something else. It's when you cook the lime, you cook the fish or with actual lime, with the lime juice. So when you get the conch at the beach, it's actually grilled. Okay, and they serve it to you with that hot lime juice pickles thing.
It's interesting because it's true, it's different than ceviche, but what's similar between both is the pickles helping sanitize the raw meat when you marinate it.
Yes, oui, de lime, lime.
Yeah.
Justement sanitiser, whatever you say it in English.
Yeah.
C'est pour
Oui.
Parce que la raison pour laquelle en Haïti, on a toujours utilisé citron pour la viande et le poisson, c'est parce que on n'avait pas de frigo pour conserver.
So originally, because we use a lot of limes for meats and poultry and fish. Because we originally there just wasn't a lot of ways to conserve the fish.
So on a utilisé les citrons pour sanitiser viande. Let me tell you, when you go, I've been in Senegal, and it's about the same thing. Senegal, they use a lot of lemon too. So
then that would join kind of what Alexandra was saying about kind of cooking it with the lime, ceviche style.
To sanitize.
Yeah. Wow. And if I can just add, as you can tell, Misol is a very, very, very well-trained chef in a French tradition, and that's what she teaches our students, which is why they are, even after just a 5-month course, ready to enter the hotel and hospitality and restaurant industry, because they have very strong skills in a sort of French culinary tradition, which translates in terms of the base. And she's tough. I'm going to tell you, she's tough.
I'm very tough.
She's very tough. She's good, and that's how our students do so well.
Amazing. Thank you.
So,
I love that.
So I've got this cabbage. No games. So I don't even care which chef tells me what to do next, but I've got this, I've got the cabbage, and I've got the carrots, and I've got my boiling liquid. And do I just pour it over, or do I put it in? What am I doing here, chef?
Pour it over. And Alexandra asked, do I strain out the thyme and peppercorns first? You can. You can strain them out. You can leave them in if you want, and kind of pick around them. If you strain them out, it's easier to eat and just to throw the pickles on something. But yeah, you would pour them over the raw vegetables. Once again, like Chef Misol mentioned, she doesn't boil her vinegar, so she would just pour it right over the veggies. She also has access to just much fresher and less contaminated food than I do in Harlem with our American conventional farming techniques. But yeah, so go ahead, pour it right over.
I have a question.
And is that Tessa?
Yes, hi. I have a question.
Okay, wonderful. I wanted to call you because I saw your hand for a while, so I was tracking you. Hello. What's your question?
My raised hand was an accident, but actually worked out for the best. Also, first, I also work for World Central Kitchen. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm here with my friend Catherine. We've never made Haitian food before, so we're very excited. I'm boiling vinegar. When do I add the peppercorns? And I have dried thyme, so when do I add those?
Right now.
Right away.
Okay, and then I can strain it before I put it over my giant thing of cabbage.
One of the things that you're doing when you're boiling it is you're actually getting the flavors, the essential oils from the peppercorns and from the thyme to release into the vinegar. You're creating an infused vinegar. It's kind of a quick style infused vinegar. You could let it sit for days and weeks, and it would be even more delicious. But this works.
Okay, I'm on it.
And you can see what my pickles are starting to do here. They're getting soft. Just the warmth, just the release. And the other thing I would say, I don't know that this is true, Chef, but in my mind, I always think about cabbage and salt. I feel like cabbage and salt, every culture has a cabbage and salt thing happening, whether that's sauerkraut or whatnot. So my instinct is to add a healthy dose of salt to this. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I would taste it first. You do have a lot of acidity in there, so I'll just taste it first to eyeball how much salt you want to put in.
And for those of you who are wondering still, like, what was the actual measurement? I used a cup of vinegar. Sorry, I should have said that earlier, but I used a cup of vinegar for about 4 cups of cut up cabbage, which was a half of a small head of cabbage.
Pickles is a very watery, briny situation. So I would use your cabbage should be submerged in liquid when you have it in the jar. So actually, what my family will do, they'll take the jar, they'll pack in all the vegetables, take a wooden spoon to push it down, and then cover it with the vinegar. So yeah, I'll do that. And then at the end, if you need to add a little bit more vinegar, you can add some at room temperature. And yeah, just keep it moving. And you mentioned wooden spoon earlier, Jesse. I wanted to just shout that out. A wooden spoon in some families is just a hallmark of the cuisine. A lot of people cook with wooden spoons. It's almost a symbolic in a way. So thank you for mentioning that earlier.
Nice. So what we have left in the next few minutes, we're gonna be moving towards completion here. We have a little salad that we're gonna make, a little simple watercress and tomato and cucumber salad, and then we also have to finish up our Yuca Puree. So that will be our next step. Why don't you walk me through what's happening there, Chef, and we'll be finished in about 15 minutes. We'll plate up. We'll give you all an opportunity to give World Central Kitchen some financial love, and then you're welcome to stay and eat with us. So we've got about 15 minutes or so left, ready to go. So tell me about this Yuca Puree. You can see here, I don't know if you can see what's happening. Victoria has a question about vinegar. About white wine vinegar, if somebody can answer that. I'm not quite sure what she's asking.
Yeah,
but you can see here.
She's asking if she can use white wine vinegar to supplement if she has a tiny bit of white wine.
Is she talking about Is she talking about white wine for the pickles or white wine for the chicken?
I think for the pickles, you can definitely use white wine vinegar. Yeah, she confirmed in the pickles. If you can afford it, go ahead and pour it all in. Alexandra, her Yuca Puree does get a bit elastic. So you didn't do anything wrong. What you can do is add a bit more liquid if you want to thin it out. Maybe a quarter cup at a time.
I wouldn't though. I want to talk to her about that first because I want you to look at mine, Alexandra. And I don't know if you can see it, but my yucca is a mucilaginous mess. It does not look great, but it's going to be delicious. So don't panic. What Chef Steve is saying is you're going to want to strain out the liquid, and then you can add the liquid back in as you would like. Now I'm going to do a slightly different technique. Some of you cooked your yucca in the coconut milk, which is a brilliant thing to do. And you're incorporating the fat in such a way that it's just going to make it absolutely unctuous and delicious. However, I want to make mine a little bit more low fat. And so I'm going to add the coconut milk in as the liquid at the end, as a way of kind of just getting a little bit of that lightness and a little bit of that freshness in. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my yucca, and I'm just going to strain out some of that liquid. And now, Chef, would you recommend doing this by hand or by hand blender or by mixer or by blender? Like, there's so many different ways that I have messed with starch and made it creamy and delicious. This almost to me looks like it wants a whisk, just like whisk it up. I don't know though. You're on mute.
I would use a hand blender or a regular blender to just incorporate it quickly. You can whisk it if I think that'll keep that elastic consistency even more. But let's see what you do with it. You know, this is one of those things that you're able to feel out, you're able to adjust texture and flavor as you go.
I might be making mine vegan because I can't find my can opener.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm in a brand new kitchen. I've just moved, so I haven't figured out where all the things are all the time. But I've got an immersion blender. That's going to work well. Now, this is a really important question. If you are making mashed potatoes and you use a blender on mashed potatoes, you turn your mashed potatoes into glue, and they're not that good. That's like something you don't want to do. You want to be mindful of that because you activate the starches. Is there anything that I want to think about? Chef Misol has something to say about this. I see her gesticulating wildly. What does she want me to do? I'm listening to that. I'm listening to her.
I think she's saying to whisk it.
I think she is
Creole
too.
word would be glacé.
Whisk it? Chef, should I whisk it?
No.
No,
Oh,
Chef,
no,
you're on mute.
you're on mute.
You on mute, Chef. Fabiola.
You're muted. You're on mute, Chef.
Give us some love. Gustavo, give us some
Chef,
love.
no pas attendez. Also mute.
She's like, you got to do old school. You got to move it.
That's for sure. That's what she's saying.
Okay, Chef, parlez.
Bibi.
Voilà.
Ok, dis son moulin m'utiliser. Moulin.
Okay, she uses
Moulin comme dans l'ancien temps.
like a grinder, you know, the manual grinder.
Like a
a ricer. She uses a ricer.
What is that?
Yeah.
She's using a ricer. Yeah.
A
Yeah,
ricer.
Bibi,
That's exactly right.
Give me 5 minutes, I'm going to show you.
Give her 5 minutes. Well, she said that in English. Now I'm translating English to English.
That's 2 hours in with the cocktails and everything.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Fabiola. You're hired.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, Fabiola.
I do have to
has
leave you guys
a
in the
night
next
out.
few minutes, but it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
So mine is just really gummy, Chef. This looks weird. I need some help fixing this. This doesn't look right.
Liquid. Thin it out.
I'm scared of it.
I'm eating.
There's okay, Bibi.
Yeah, a ricer. We call that a ricer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I use for the potatoes.
Yeah.
Because if you put the potatoes in the robot, it's going to be like elastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too gluey. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Il t'a expliqué ça un petit peu avant que le bala vient quand vous la colle.
Oui.
Now I know.
Don't worry,
Alexandra. But this is my
I'm in the same.
There's
her pickles.
sauce pickles. Yay. So yummy.
Wow.
Pile piment.
Lots of hot peppers.
Let me just say, I think it burned my Vitamix. So there you go.
Really?
Oh, you put it in the Vitamix. I
don't have a blender. I just have a Vitamix.
Coupet, you know what? I also put some little bit of oil on it.
Oil. Okay.
On my pickles.
That's it. I was going to say that earlier. I think at my house, we add the vinegar, we add just a tiny bit of oil to the pickles.
Yeah. Very good. Okay.
Jesse, you found your can opener.
I'm opening up a can, literally. All right, I've got my coconut milk, and I'm going to see if this little bit of liquid I've got a little bit of a mucilaginous situation happening here. I don't have a ricer. I don't own a ricer. And I'll say this, my Yuca tastes delicious. The texture is not what I was thinking. What do you think, Chef?
I'll
Keep
go back
going,
to
a little more liquid.
I'll go back to school for my starch game. I would still thin it out a little bit. Because it looks like it's incorporating, so I'll do a little more liquid.
Yeah, it's
something
coming
you have
together.
to eat. It's something you have to eat hot too, right? When it cools, it's going to thicken up even more.
I will say, Alexandra, that I haven't worked with Yuca a lot, and this is a new recipe for me. I've tried it once before. It does remind me of the way that the starches get activated when the reason that Chef Misol is using the ricer is that it's limiting the activation of the starches, the way that they bind together. It just brings them, I don't know how to say what it does, but it keeps them separate. So if you've ever had very light, fluffy mashed potatoes that aren't, that's what the ricer does. And so the cassava as I mix it more, is doing the same thing that potatoes will do. And the tool that you used, the Vitamix, is probably the hardest, is the most likely to activate the starches really intensely. So I wouldn't use the Vitamix in the future for this particular dish. And I would do a ricer, actually. I think a ricer is a great idea.
I think your texture is looking...
My texture is coming together nicely. So, yeah. And I just keep adding more liquid, and my texture is starting to get kind of I don't know what the right word is. It's actually going to end up being kind of a creamy and lovely.
And just be sure to season for all that liquid you've added.
Right. So every step of the way, one of the things we teach in excellent cooking is every step of the way you season. So you salt the water, and then you salt it when it comes out if it needs it. And you taste it at this point, and now I've added a lot more liquid, so I need to test it for salt and other things as well. Fabiola, what's the question?
The question is,
oh, that's good.
That maybe if you boil the yuca a little bit too much, that might kind of change texture when you're trying to mash.
It's true. With the steaming, it takes a bit longer, but I feel that you're able to control it a little more. That end point of the yuca, it's true. But yuca, it is definitely an elastic. People do pounded yuca. That's something I do too. Yeah, agreed. But Jesse, it looks like
I think that. Yeah, I think the steaming would definitely be something that would not activate the starch as much. And if I were doing it in the future and I were boiling it, I would boil a little bit of yuca in a lot of water. And I did a lot of yuca in a little bit of water, and it kept all that starch and it kind of coagulated. So there are definitely a few things that I would do different. But what I have here is a yuca puree, and it's very soupy. And it's going to be delicious, and I'm actually going to plate it as a soup. And I'm going to get it a little bit more, just a little bit smoother. I've got a lot of yummy fat in there from my coconut milk and salt. And I'm just going to keep this really simple. I have so much additional flavor happening. So I'm kind of ad-libbing here. It's one of the things us chefs in the kitchen do. Yours may be thicker. I think we were planning on something a little bit thicker to have underneath your chicken, but that is delicious, and people will eat that. They'll drink that. This is like a delightful smoothie. That is so good. That is so good. So,
get some on
Chef,
your beard a little bit, Chef.
So I would love it, Chef, if you would just walk us through the salad, and Eduardo, if you could put in the chat the links to the Ecole De Chefs, to Chef Misol's program. Right now, we know sometimes people leave, and we want to hear a little bit more from the World Central Kitchen folks. But if we could just get that chat in the chat in case you have to leave, we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to support the incredible programming and the incredible training that's happening in Haiti. And there'll be a whole bunch of other links and stuff that I talk about in just a couple minutes. But Chef, let's get this salad happening. Quick stop.
The salad is, we have the ingredients. It's kind of however you want it. I'm curious about Chef Misol, Chef Chevallier, and how she makes her watercress salad. It's, with this as well, if you have little bits and ends from the peppers, any vegetables from the evening, that's something you can throw in there. But we have cucumbers, cherry tomatoes. Sounds like you might not want to add pickles to it if everything else is a bit spicy. And yeah, just kind of throw it all in. But Chef Misol, if you are around, I'm curious how she would do her watercress salad.
So right now I'm taking these little cherry tomatoes and I'm halving them, or I could quarter them. And I am, that's what I'm doing, but we would love to hear from Chef Misol.
Your cucumbers, you can dice them, you can do rounds, you can make like julienne cucumber, kind of any way you want.
Steve, could you repeat the question to Chef Misol? I can try to get her attention.
Yeah, just to see what her favorite watercress salad would look like.
Chef Misol Chela, nous ta aimé connaître qui jan ou fait salade cresson. So we say cresson for watercress.
Cresson. Oh, you're on mute again, Chef.
Cresson.
Chef, nous pas attendre. Mute.
I don't see Chef Misol, but I'm sure.
Okay,
there we go.
En général, cresson nous fait pour un accompagnement avec un petit vinaigrette sous lui.
So basically, it's just a simple
salade
with a simple vinaigrette.
Quand on fait en salade, mais naturellement, après on fait des potages de cresson, toute bagaille de cresson. Mais quand c'est en salade, c'est un filet d'huile d'olive avec un peu de vinaigre.
But yeah, if we're doing it as a salad, just a little bit of olive oil and vinegar, a simple vinaigrette over the watercress.
That's it.
Because
the cresson is very tasty.
Delicate.
It's more tastier than the épinard, than the spinach.
Oui.
Got that spicy bite to it.
Yeah, very good. And we eat in Haiti, we like to eat the cresson with the liver.
Oh, really?
In the morning for the déjeuner.
For breakfast? Instead of liver and onions, it's liver and watercress.
Chicken liver or beef liver?
Beef liver.
Oh, really?
Beef liver with a lot of cresson and plantain, banana plantain.
Oui.
In the morning for breakfast.
Yeah. The beef liver.
I'm Chef Misol. I'm coming to visit. I want to have the conch on the beach with you. but I can't eat the liver for breakfast. I'm sorry.
Wait, chef.
Taste. It's an acquired taste. It's...
I love liver. Chef, the beef liver, is it in sauce or you just cook it?
En sauce.
Tomato
I
sauce?
like, for myself. Okay, that's the way we eat it in the province, in Haiti. But for myself, I like good liver de foie de veau, veal.
What's that, Fabiola? Veal?
Veal.
Oh, veal liver. She likes.
Oh, veal.
Yes.
Yeah. Baby cow.
Yeah, but I use cresson.
She uses watercress.
I like the veal liver. Aller-retour like a steak.
Yeah.
With a little bit of pepper and salt, but with cresson.
Okay, so no sauce on the veal liver.
No,
No
that's
sauce.
the way I like it.
That's you. But
The way
everybody
she
else
likes it is.
That's me. But still, whenever I have liver, no matter how, I have to put cresson.
So I want to just show you guys a couple quick things about our salad, and I'm going to start working towards plating. We would love it if you stayed and eat with us. We definitely want to have you all in gallery view and taking a couple of pictures where you can pretend that you had a great time, and then we also want you to have your plate out at some point. What I've done with this salad is I just took a little bit. This is actually a technique I learned from my grandmother, which is to take the salad and toss it with. I have a really lovely local olive oil. I'm just tossing it with very lightly with a little bit of salt and olive oil several times. And now there's a lot of different choices about what I want to do with my acid because there's so many different places to go that we've already been in this class. So I've got a little bit of champagne wine vinegar. If we were going to go Chef Misol style, that would be that traditional, very light vinaigrette would be lovely. We could also add some lime because there's a lot of lime throughout the meal. And another traditional way, at least my understanding of a traditional vibe, is to actually just add some of the pickles, and the pickles are just full of their own vinegary goodness. So I'm going to just toss that in. I'm going to taste it because we always taste things to figure out if they're delicious. If it's delicious at one step of the way, by the time you get to the end, it will still be delicious. It will be more delicious.
What leaf are you using, Jesse?
This is watercress. It's watercress.
Nice. Looks a bit different, I think, than what I got out here.
It is the watercress from Ranch 99 Asian supermarket, so it's possible that it is different. Now I have this delicious kind of frothy yuca puree here. I'm going to put that in a bowl because it's not going to hold up in my plate. But if it does hold up in your plate, it would be really nice to kind of do a spoon or a sploosh of it. And I'm going to take a look at my chicken. My chicken in a pot. We've got this beautiful quarter of a chicken here.
That looks awesome.
And I've got a lot of sauce because the Haitians told me that I had to have the sauce. So I got a lot of sauce on there.
Gotta have
That's
the
for you,
sauce.
That's for you, Fabiola. That is for you. And I'm going to just drench this guy in sauce. You know, this could use a bowl too, I'm not going to lie. And then I'm just going to have this elegant little pile of greens right here. I'll make sure I got some of those on top. And then we're going to put a little bit of pickles right on top. And voila, I have a beautiful, beautiful Haitian meal.
That came together really nicely, man. Put some.
Very good.
Right? Jesse, let me get some cracked black pepper over half of that puree for effect.
There we go. There we go.
Ouais, ça le fait, hein? Est-ce que vous avez vu ce qu'il a fait? Il a mis.
I love it.
Misol, show us yours. Montre-nous.
She's gonna go get her stuff. That looks like a wonderful kitchen they're working with over there at Ecole De Chefs in Port-au-Prince.
It really does.
Alexandra, have you been there on site?
I have to say, it is one of the most beautiful teaching kitchens. It is completely open on one side, so you have the breeze and you oversee a bay and overlook Port-au-Prince, and then you see the water in the distance, and it's all open, and it's Jose designed it. It's a pretty amazing facility. So if any of you are ever down there and you want to go visit Chef Misol and go see one of our classes, you are always welcome.
Wow, and then it's like the wooden effect of those ceilings, so it stays a bit true as well for where it is.
Chef Misol, can we come cook with you sometime?
Chef Misol, is mute.
Keep the mute.
Okay.
Oui.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Chef Misol, montrez-nous plateau.
M'a montré nous plat.
Oui. So Chef Misol is going to show us her plating now.
Poivron. Un petit poivron jaune.
Oh, a little bit further down. Oh, beautiful. Gustavo, Eduardo, I hope you're getting pictures of this.
Okay.
You have to take picture of this.
Il va prendre nous là.
Very
There we
beautiful.
go.
That is beautiful.
Beautiful, Chef Misol.
Wow, and you see her puree that's been riced very nicely. Belle.
So
Merci,
one of the
chef.
questions. Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better than what I came up with. So,
Excuse me,
so
chef. Chef, let me tell you, the plate you made is for the Haitian. That's the way they like it. En pile manger.
A lot of food, she says.
I have good instincts. My instincts are good. I might lack a little bit of technique, but my instincts are strong.
Haïtien manger pour ventre plein. When I was in Haiti, someone told me they're like Haitians eat to fill their bellies, you know. And it's you know, especially in such a hot place and just, you know, a more physical lifestyle than we have out here. Just you need that nourishing food.
So we want to do a couple of things. Victoria's asking, she's saying, wait, I thought the yuca was supposed to go under the chicken. It is. My yuca is very saucy, so it would just turn into one big soup, which will actually taste quite delicious. So yes, however, love it if you would take photos of your food. Let's all do a gallery view shot real quick. Let's put this in gallery view so you can see everybody. And let's take a photo of everybody's faces. Those of you who don't have your cameras on, if you could do just a moment with your cameras on, that would be really lovely and appreciated. Eduardo, especially you, my friend, thank you. And if you'll take some screenshots of us, thank you everybody for joining us. Yay! You are welcome to. You're welcome to continue to. Hang out and eat with us. I will certainly be eating for a moment. Show us your plates and let's get a few pictures of your plates right now. I want to see yours, Chef Fatima. Take a picture of your comida.
Lisa looks
Gustavo,
like she has a beautiful bounty over there on the plate, and that's a cool like square plate as well. Nice.
Gustavo, are you getting some photos?
I already ate it, but I can share the picture. No, I'm finished. It's almost finished, but.
So what we would love is if you want to there's
You
a
see,
couple of different ways.
Fatima's picture there, Jesse? Sorry, just she's trying to show it to you.
Yeah.
Just send the picture, Mama. I will.
So what we would love is if you could post your pictures and tag us and on Instagram at sacredkitchensf.com. That link is in the chat right now. We would love to just kind of build a little bit of swirl, a little bit of momentum around this class and around what we're doing. And similarly, we have a WhatsApp chat. Gustavo, if you can put that stuff in the chat, that would be great. We have a WhatsApp group where it's basically just a food group, and it's an opportunity to share what your plates look like. I will respond to the WhatsApp food questions as opposed to emails, which I will not respond to. Love you, sorry, just a reality. So if you want to join us on the WhatsApp group, there's a little group there, and we'd love to see what you made tonight. It's like a totally non-commercial space just to share the love around food and whatever else you might have. And of course, last but not least, there is incredible work happening with Chef Misol's kitchen, and we would love a portion of the proceeds from tonight's event will go towards that kitchen, and we would love it if you all would make a donation as well to that. And Chef Gustavo Eduardo will put in the link to what they are up to there, and we also welcome and invite you to connect with us. We're Sacred Kitchen SF. I'm Jesse Bloom, and we do a lot of different kinds of things. We're doing a lot of virtual stuff right now. We do a lot of corporate team building work, and Chef Steve and I have developed a program that we're very excited about called the Soul Food Remix. And the idea is that we're taking our take on soul food and the cuisine of the African diaspora, as well as indigenous cuisines to the Americas, and inviting people into a very different experience than what they think of when they think of soul food, because really soul food includes everybody around the world. And today was nothing short of a global soul food experience. People calling in from, I don't know how many different countries. We have 4. Does Wyoming count, Sarah? I'm going to go ahead and count Wyoming as a separate country.
I'm here for it. And yeah, agreed on global soul food. And thank you to the folks at World Central Kitchens. Definitely donate to support L'Ecole De Chefs. Your USD goes a long way for an operation like this in Port-au-Prince. So definitely support. And I want to shout out Fabiola Coupet for joining us, for engaging with us. Fabiola goes by Fabiola Coupet on Instagram. And do you have a site yet? You mentioned you have an upcoming food blog. I
don't have a site yet, but in the next few weeks, I should be up.
Yeah, so follow Fabiola. She's great, based in Port-au-Prince. Does some really cool stuff. A couple months ago, was at an art gallery promoting Haitian artists. She's a radio talk show host. So definitely someone to follow to get a real pulse of the culture in Haiti, and to kind of circumvent all the other stuff you might see in the media, or to complement the other stuff you might see in the media. So it's your opportunity to connect with someone who's doing amazing things on the ground in Haiti. So thank you, Fabiola, for joining us.
Thank you. I have to jet off, but thank you so much. It's a little later where we are. Sending you much love. Bon appetit. I hope you really enjoyed that. And yeah, keep learning about Haiti. So many beautiful things to discover. Chef Misol, you're on your own.
Merci, Fabiola. Thank you to everybody.
Bisous. Merci, Chef Misol. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys.
Chef.
Thank you, Fabiola.
Thank you all very much, Fabiola. It's wonderful to be connected. I'd like to invite us to sort of formally close the program with just, I don't know. I know there's a lot of stress and a lot of struggle in Haiti right now. And I just want to invite us to take a moment of silence and send some love and appreciation to our Haitian family. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you
Chef
had a
Mis-
blast.
Chef Misol, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Chef
Thank you for this.
Misol. And thank you for
Thank
working.
you.
So wonderful.
Very nice meeting you.
Yes.
It
and
was
we gotta meet you in
amazing. It was so
person.
good to be here. Thank
Yes,
you.
so glad.
Y'all are welcome. Y'all are welcome to stay and hang out. Our next class, Victoria is still on, I think. Victoria is co-hosting our next Sacred Kitchen class. It is trivia night, a week, 2 weeks from tonight, and we are going to be doing a food science trivia night, and it's going to be amazing and fabulous. So you should come and play with us. And thanks, y'all. I'm going to eat. And I'm going to eat with y'all if y'all.
Nice.
Jenny, you're calling from Greece? Wow.
Yeah.
What time is it there? You're having breakfast.
We were so excited. I brought my friend also from his home. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It started.
Wow.
We were so thrilled to be part of this amazing process. Your work is incredible. And we are really honored that you invited us here. And we're more than happy to donate to this incredible work that you're doing. Thank you so much for the tips and everything.
Hein?
You stayed up.
C'est avec. Ouais, comprendre, non? C'est avec.
No, it's nothing. It's just the pleasure of seeing all the people together and cooking all together for such a great cause is simply overwhelming for us. And I once again thank you all.
Oh, wow. That is really remarkable. I would love to be connected with you. Thank you so much for joining us. How did you hear, Jenny, how did you hear about
Patreon?
Yeah, I'm a Patreon. And this way I got connected with Chef Coupe, and I saw the story via his Instagram, and immediately I got hooked. So I invited my friend who is a chef too, and he was really excited. He set the alarm clock, came here, and yeah, that's how it worked.
That is unbelievable. I have to share that story. That's just.
Oh, that's great. You are unbelievable, all of you. I mean, the energy that you put, your hat, everything is just unbelievable. We forgot to get our hats, really. So, yeah.
One of the things that's been so fun about these classes is like, I don't know, Gustavo, it's like a third of the people who come are chefs, which just makes me so happy. Like the chefs just come to cook together. Because I think we just love it and we miss it so much. At least I do, that just like being able to feed people. So I'm really glad that you brought your chef friend. What's his name?
Nikos.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nick.
Hi, Mikos. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. Such a great time.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, so cool.
Really worldwide. Wow.
We're truly, truly global. And that's like what World Central Kitchen is doing. They're everywhere. I mean, if there's a problem, they're there. This is the second World Central Kitchen fundraiser that we did. A really good friend of my mom I grew up with is Colombiana from San Andres. And she reached out to me and said, hey, we got to get people down there. It's a mess. Can you help? And I know Sam Block, who's one of the field operations people. And within about 3 days, 2 or 3 days, lo and behold, World Central Kitchen is cruising in and feeding people all over Providencia. And we happened to be cooking a week later. We happened to have our Colombian food night scheduled with Charles Michel, who and so we had an elder come from San Andres, Mama Lucy Trigiria, who's an incredible chef and just an amazing personality. And so we did a very similar show, and we're able to raise some funds, and it was a beautiful thing. And I really appreciate the enthusiastic response from Lisa and Alexandra, and like I just hope we can do this regularly. And I can't actually wait to get in the kitchen. Like I'm really excited to get deployed and chop some onions.
That's so beautiful, but I want you to know that Fatima has been instrumental in our Era and Iota activation and has led all of our work in Guatemala and has been in daily contact when it was happening with our Providencia team. So She's one of the people who's making it happen down there.
Thank you, Fatima.
Operations.
Where are you in Guate?
I'm based in Guatemala City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But I'm originally from the highlands called Quetzaltenango.
From
it's a town about, near the, very close to the Mexican border.
Okay. Yeah. We have a very, very close friend who has been in, who's in La Labor, which is like right outside of Guatemala City. What's the name of the town, Mom? Mixco?
Oh, yeah. It's very close.
Yeah, she's in Misol.
Oh, yeah.
I've spent a little time there. My mom has spent a lot of time there. So doing good work.
My son joined me today. He helped me do the pickling. Alex, say hello.
Hello.
Hi. Do you like spicy, Alex?
Yes, I like spicy, especially hot Cheetos.
That's nice.
Oh, funny.
He does like hot Cheetos.
Alex, how old are you?
12.
You're 12? Oh, that's cool. My son is 12 also, and he'll be here momentarily. Sometimes he does what Gustavo Eduardo does, did tonight. Every once in a while, I get him to run the back of house, but he loves to cook. But when I'm doing this, he has to cook in the living room, which is just a little awkward.
Alexandra, regarding activations, and Lisa mentioned earlier a DC activation. She mentioned around the inauguration. I remember the night of the mayhem that we had here on the Capitol. World Central Kitchens did an activation that night for the workers, all the security police who had to be there in the aftermath of all of that. I think Jose was down, and people kind of forgot about that because DC went into a curfew. But then at the same time, you have double this amount of armed forces meant to protect the city. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm not on the relief team, so I don't get to go on a lot of activations. So I was very happy to be able to quote volunteer one day with the team on that. And for anybody who knows DC, it is a city that's built for tourism and for open spaces and going to visit. And it was very much like living in a military zone. Everything was shut down. You couldn't get in anywhere. And Jose's first restaurant is called Jaleo. And we ran our activation out of there. It's really downtown. I mean, the Capitol is 10 minutes away by car, maybe. And it was in the perimeter. So what was the perimeter? And so we served out of there. And, you don't think about these things, like all these National Guard people that were brought in, and all these, folks that over the course of the next 4 days until the inauguration, where the city was literally shut down, they had nowhere to eat. They had nowhere to go to the bathroom. They were working 12, 24-hour shifts. There were images on the news about them, many of them sleeping on cots in the Capitol, but the Capitol is not really a barracks situation. So as we were going around, I got to spend the morning kind of prepping food. Actually, I became the sandwich wrapper. I was the official sandwich wrapper for the day. But in the afternoon, I got to go out with some of our members and with Jose and deliver food. And really, people, all of them were coming up. We were going up to the gates and everywhere where they were stationed at the roadblocks, and people are like, it's the first time that we've eaten hot food in 2 days. So it's a little crazy to think that we live in a place where this can happen. It's crazy to think that we live in a place where what's happening in Texas is going on right now. But we do try to respond and try to help not only the victims, but also the people who are there to try to help the victims, because in many situations, people our emergency response system is not set up to take care of the first responders. They bring all these people in, but they don't really think about how to take care of them. So we are very happy always to work with the first responders and try to support them.
That's amazing. Thank you. And you're right. I think, you know, we've spoken a lot tonight about the work that World Central Kitchen has done in other countries. When we think of relief and aid, I think from our perspective, we think internationally, but domestically, there's a lot of opportunities to help people who are in long-term strife, but also people in short-term strife, like what you just
described. Lisa is still on, you know, the comms team today has gotten so many calls from people all around Houston and Austin saying, you know, we're in an elderly home. All of our refrigeration has gone down. We had to throw away all of our food. I mean, we were talking about food safety before. You can't serve food that, you know, has not been refrigerated. And you know, these elderly populations that can't go out and get anything. So we've been largely focused on the elderly populations and retirement homes and those kind of facilities, because their residents can't go anywhere else to get food.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's very true. Thank you for that. Monique, Jay, and Pat, y'all look like you're ready for a nap. Like after eating
that's like
meal.
really depressing end.
No, I mean, it's about the work that World Central Kitchen does. So I think it's super important to talk about the diversity of the work and the diversity of places. But I was jealous at Monique and Jay and Pat earlier, just seeing them happily eat. I was like, I don't have to ask them if it came out good, because you guys were eating nicely over there. So it's good to see you. Thank you for coming through and spending time with us.
This was really lovely. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Jesse, back to you. I think I'm going to be wrapping up over here, looking at all this food. It's a bit late for me to be eating, but I have to dive into a bed so that I don't get tempted.
Hey, with my new camera. Now you're all welcome to my living room. Although, let me grab my food real quick. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to you. You know, it's been such a pleasure to work with you and to just kind of, you know, just play this game, do this thing. It's so much more fun than creating alone, and it gives me a window into the world, and it gives me the opportunity to you know, kind of do the thing I want to do, which is to be an example of a way that you know, folks who carry a lot of social privilege can show up and be supportive of other voices, and not just be taking all the credit. And I just love you. You're awesome.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a
every
joy.
time I talk to you, I'm like, that was fun. That was great.
Thank you. It's been a joy. And yeah, we've been planning for this for a while. And so I love how it came out and all the excitement. And Chef Chevallier as well, to be here. Merci en pile. Thank you, Chef Chevallier, for the work that you're doing in Port-au-Prince, for spreading this culture. Did she get so embarrassed she hopped off? Is that what happened? She might have met. But definitely support the school. But yeah, thank you, Jesse.
Can I just say, Chef Jenny, if we ever respond, if there's ever something in Greece and we're responding, give us a shout and we'll enlist you. And we try to always work with local chefs, so we're gonna rope you in.
Great, that's so nice. Thank you so much. I will pop up all the ideas and we can get in touch. It will be great.
Okay. Well, hopefully we don't have to activate in Greece. Hopefully there's nothing. It's better if we don't have to go. But
it's better, yeah. I agree. But life has a mysterious path, and we all need to, you know, to dig a little bit deeper on what is going on outside the surface. So yes, thank you very much for mentioning that. I appreciate it.
Chef Misol, we wanted to say thank you. We were saying thank you, and then you left. We're glad you're back.
Oh no, we were out of internet.
Yeah, the internet goes in
Internet
and
just
out.
went out.
Yeah.
Au
Thank you,
revoir.
Chef Misol, for being
Thank
here.
you very
Thank you.
much. Au revoir.
Thank you for all the work you do. I
Oh,
think it's
thank
very
you.
beautiful. I think it's very, very beautiful. And I'm so happy to hear of
Thank
what
you
you're
for the
doing.
invitation. It was very cool. Nice
Yeah.
to meet
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Chef Coupet.
Hey guys,
Merci,
thank you
Bibi.
for your names.
Yes. Yeah. What are your names of your students behind you?
I'm
Who are
Chef Annie,
I'm
Annie
Chef Paul.
Azor, and Chef Paul.
Chef Paul and
Two
Chef
chefs.
Ashley. Yes.
I
Yes.
made them.
Ah.
Paul was actually one of our first graduates, and Paul actually helps us teach the Sink to Stove curriculum in Haiti. So it's come full circle. He now, when we need someone to instruct, he helps us. And graduated a couple of years ago, and I know we'll be using her as well. So.
Nice. Oh, it's amazing. I love that. I love that.
Anyways, have a good night, guys. And thank you. They have to leave now because it's late for them.
Very late. Very late. Yes. Yes.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. I'm
Okay,
gonna
bye
head
bye.
off
À
as well.
demain. Et puis n'oubliez pas l'association. Hein?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Jesse, any final words? I'll
I
let
know
you close out.
a lot of you have to leave, but for those of you who don't know, I really want to give a shout out to the Charles Michel, Chef Charles Michel's Patreon. A lot of the folks here on this call are from the community. And it's just an incredible place to meet interesting people who are doing powerful, beautiful things. And so I definitely just want to give a shout out to that. I'm so glad to see so many of you, Jenny and Victoria and Sarah and Chef Steve.
Monique and Jay also. They might have been from before your time, but Monique and Jay also from the community. Nice. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna sign off.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au
Thank you,
revoir.
thank you. Au revoir.
Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit.
Bonne nuit, bonne nuit. Merci un peu.
Buenas noches.
Bonsoir.
I will also drop, but thank you guys so much. This was so wonderful.
Yeah.
I love working with Chef Misol, and so doing this extra was an extra treat. We'll have to do this again. And we're very, it turned out so good.
Thank you.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you, Chef Jesse. We really appreciate it, and great to see everyone here. And Gustavo, thank you for all your help. And we will be in touch. Have a good night, everyone.
Circle it back around.
Have a good night.
Lisa, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. We'll talk soon.
Sarah, Victoria, how did it come out? I want to hear. Tell me all the things. How is it?
Can you bring a knife?
Oh, Victoria's mic's not working.
She's speechless. It's so good. She's speechless.
Victoria's mic's not working.
I know. So I said she's speechless. It's so
Okay.
good. How's yours?
It's good. I did something way different. I did the vegetarian. I did mushrooms, artichoke hearts, and coconut meat.
Wow.
And it's very tasty. My puree is quite glue, however, but the puree. Good.
Yeah, the extra liquid definitely helped my puree. It's still, I think Chef Misol has the idea with the ricer. That's really the way to do it. But mine's good.
Yeah, I cooked mine with the coconut, and it's paste, but it's a very delicious paste.
Exactly. Gustavo, Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse, for inviting me. Always a pleasure.
Catch up. I want to hear how you're doing. And we got some good momentum happening, man. I think we're gonna end up in TJ sooner or later.
Of course, I'll be here. You know, you have a home here.
Yeah, we'll be down there sooner or later.
Got it. Thank you very much. Take care.
Friend, thank you for your help.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I'll have it a little bit if you open
I
it.
can help you.
Victoria, what did you use for starch? Oh, you gotta go. No worries. Yeah, yummy. Right, let's touch base this weekend. I wanna. Oh, yum. Let's touch base this weekend. I want to go over I want to go. We should go over the show. I got bookmark stuff, but nothing major. All right, yo. Good night. I think it's time. Good night. Bye.
Bye.